Hello, welcome to online math. It's going to be a little different, but hopefully it will work. So today we are going to be talking about circumference and arc length. So to start off, go ahead and do the warm-up. You can do them in your notebook, on a piece of paper. If you really want, you can even do them on a note card. But pause the video, do these problems, and then press play once you're done. Okay, so to identify the center and the radius, remember the center is going to be an ordered pair, so I set up my parentheses and comma. The opposite of -4 is a +4. The opposite of +6 gives me a -6. To find the radius, remember I need to square root that, and that gives me 5. Okay, for number 2, I'm basically doing this backwards. I'm writing the equation. So I'm going to set up parentheses x squared plus parentheses y squared equals. So the opposite of -3 is a +3, so I'm going to write +3. Opposite of +2 is -2, so -2. 4 squared gives me 16. And pardon my disgusting handwriting, but I am doing this with a computer mouse, so hopefully that'll get better as time goes on. Okay, Lincoln objective. So before break, we went over equations of circles. So this unit, we're going to delve deeper into the properties of circles. We're on GBC 4. I can use properties of circles to solve problems. So today what we are doing is you're going to be able to find the circumference of a circle given its radius, the circumference given its diameter, and then the arc length of a circle given its radius and central angle. Who uses this crap anyway? So, racers use this all the time. So if you look at a track, it looks a little something like this. And then you've got this bigger part. And in a race, they all use the same finish line. But if we look at the parts of the map that are like a circle, we see that this right here is a lot shorter distance than this part right here. So that means is that whoever starts on the inside is going to start a little farther back, and the person who's towards the outside is going to start higher up. And so what this does is they measured all of the different lengths here to even them out so that it's a fair race. So go ahead and copy this down into your notes. Circumference equals 2 times pi times radius. Arc length equals 2 times pi times radius times the angle over 360. Another way you might see this is theta, which is the circle with a line through it, over 360. So go ahead, pause, copy that down, and then press play. So, what is the circumference? Remember, the circumference is this outside part of the circle. I like to think of it as the crust of the pizza. So to find the circumference, remember my equation is 2 times pi times r. Radius is from the center to the outside, so in this case, it's 6.3. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 2 times pi times 6.3. So go ahead and enter that in your calculators. If you don't have a pi button on your calculator, go ahead and just use 3.14. But 2 times pi times 6.3, and that gives me 39.58, or I'm going to round that up to 39.6 miles. Okay, on this next one, here, since it goes all the way from the end to the end, it's a diameter. So I need to take the 17.4 and cut it in half. So divide it by 2 equals, and that gives me 8.7. So this is my radius right here. So now I plug that in. 2 times pi times 8.7 and that gives me 54.66, so I'm going to round that to 54.7 feet. And as long as the numbers you get are close, that's fine. I'm going to allow some wiggle room on these. Okay, so let's do some of these together. So go ahead, let me move these out of the way. Copy this first circle right here down in your notebook. Okay, what is the radius of this circle? Good, it's 6. So what we're going to type in our calculators is 2 times pi times 6. Go ahead and do that right now. And I got 37.69, so I'm going to write that as 37.7 centimeters. Okay. Now let's do this one. So remember, before we plug it into our equation, what do we need to do with our diameter? That's right, we cut it in half. So 24 divided by 2 gives me 12. So I'm going to do 2 times pi times 12. Go ahead and enter that in your calculators. And 75.4, if you got 75.39 or something along that, that works as well. Okay, go ahead and try this last one on your own and set up your equation. Okay, so for this last circle here, our radius is 4.5, so we're going to do 2 times pi times 4.5. Enter that in your calculator, and you get 28.3 yards. Okay, hopefully you guys have seen this stuff before and it's coming pretty easily to you. You should have hit on this in like 6th or 7th grade. If you've forgotten, that's okay. That's why we're going over it now. So pick one of these problems to do on your own. You don't have to do both of them. You can if you want. But either pick this circle or that circle. Pause, and then once you've got your answer, click play and see if you got it right. Okay. So for this first one, you should have gotten 62.8 feet. For this one, you should have gotten 69.1 meters. Okay, so go ahead and put your pencils down and just watch me for this one. So now I'm finding what's called an arc length. So this is just a portion of the circumference of a circle. So think of it, if I take a slice of pizza, how much crust is on that slice of pizza rather than the crust on the whole pizza. So in order to do this, I start the same way. I do 2 times pi times my radius. The radius in this one is 12. I can tell it's a radius and not the angle measure because it doesn't have the degree sign by it. It has a unit of measurement. Okay. Then, before I enter this in my calculator, I need to multiply it by a fraction. Now think to yourself, how many degrees are in a circle? If you said 360, you were right, so that's going to be the number on the bottom of my fraction. So for the entire lesson, the number on the bottom of the fraction in the denominator is going to be 360. That'll be true for our next lesson as well. In the numerator, so on top of our fraction, needs to be what the degree measure is. In this case, it is 150. And I can tell because it's got the little degree symbol after it. So I'm going to enter this whole thing into my calculator. So 2 times pi times 12 times, set up my fraction, alpha y equals enter, 150 over 360. And this gives me 31.4 feet. So this length is talking about right here, how long that piece is. Okay, go ahead and pick up your pencils. We're going to do a couple of these in your notebook. So we're going to start by looking at this one. So go ahead and copy this one down. Your picture doesn't have to be pretty. Just make it, you know, kind of look like a circle. Okay, so now that you've done that, I start my equation with 2 pi. That part's going to stay the same all day. And then which one's my radius? Is it the 11 or is it the 60? You're right, it's the 11. So 2 pi 11 times, I set up my fraction, the number on the bottom is always going to be 360. And then I look for the number in my diagram that has the degrees. In this case, it is the 60. So this is my equation. Go ahead and enter that in your calculator. So 2 pi 11, alpha y equals enter, 60 over 360. And that should give you 11.5 inches. And that's this length right here. Okay. Now go ahead and draw this one in your notebooks, and I want you to set up the equation. So don't solve the equation yet, but just set it up and see how you do. Press play once you're ready to move on. Okay, so your equation should be 2 pi 8 times 300 over 360. Hopefully you got that. If not, we still have more time to practice. You'll get it by the end of this, I promise. So enter that in your calculator. 2 pi 8 times 300 over 360. And that gives me 41.9. And remember, if your answers aren't exactly mine, but they're close, that's fine. All calculators round pi a little differently, and if you're using 3.14, it's going to be a little different than mine. But as long as you're between 41 and 42, you're good. Okay, let's do one more of these. So set up your equation, and then press play and see how you did. Okay, so for this one, you should have gotten 2 pi 7 times 135 over 360, and that gives you 16.5 meters. Okay, go ahead and do this next one on your own, and then we'll be done with this lesson. So pause, do it on your own, and then press play. Okay, you should get 2 pi 4 times 150 over 360. And when you enter that in, you get 10.5 meters. Okay. So today's assignment, you're going to complete it on Canvas. It says quiz on it. It's not really a quiz. That's just what Canvas says it is. And you have as many attempts as you want to get it right. So you should be able to get up to 100% if you retake it enough times. And try to get that done by Saturday. So good luck, and I will see you guys soon.